What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Finally, we are back for the My Team Journey, episode number 21 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. This is the finale of Season 1. Oh my word, the game has been out for, what, 4 months? And we are just finishing Season 1 now. That's pretty bad. And maybe it's a reflection of where the game is currently at this stage. You know, I can list excuses or reasons as to why we haven't been uploading this series as much, but we'll get into those later. For now, though, what you need to know is that we are not in the championship fight. Charles Leclerc has wrapped up the championship a couple of races ago, I believe, at the Brazilian Grand Prix in the sprint weekend. So, yeah, for a while, the season has been a bit dead and buried for us. We did have that asterisk result in, where was it, Hungary, where we finished first on track because of a red flag glitch, put us in P7. So, because of that, we can, in theory, say that we're still fighting for potentially P2 in the driver's standings. But maybe, again, that's another reason why the series hasn't been uploaded in a while, is I knew this finale, you know, we weren't fighting for the championship, but we can still have a lot of fun and we can learn a lot from this last race, given that this was probably filmed about, I want to say 2 months ago. It's been 2 months since I filmed this, and my driving, my understanding of the game and the handling model has moved on quite drastically. I went to edit this footage today, and I noticed some big differences in how the car drives versus how the cars react in other modes of the game. Maybe that's how I was driving, maybe that's characteristics of the car itself. But I'm excited to get going for Season 2 and see what's what. But we are going to have to wait until Season 2 starts. Hopefully not a couple of months like it was for this occasion. Here we are for qualifying for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the finale of Season 1 here at Marduk Motorsport. We're currently, I think, P4 in the constructors standings. Nothing too much that can be done there flexibility-wise, which is a shame. We've had some major shakeups in the drivers lineup. Due to a glitch with the game having too many races potentially, and I don't know, I think it's a Codemasters issue. Normally the contract talks happen, I don't know, end of November, December, the negotiations, but because the calendar was so long, it meant that all the driver swaps happened before the last race. So that was a major glitch, which unfortunately is still affecting my save because I started this save before the game got patched for that. So I'm not too sure if it's going to be present for Season 2. Maybe you guys can let me know. I'm sure there are people on Season 3 and 4 now, and they can tell me if it's been fixed yet or not, or whether I have to start a new save. Ideally, I would like to just carry on with this save, or maybe for next season we do a shorter season, and we avoid that issue by not running or racing in Abu Dhabi. Anyway, technical sides out of the way. Into this qualifying lap. We are not quick, it seems. Though that lap changes things. We go P13 and progress into the next part of qualifying, which is a bit of a relief. A grid penalty there for George Russell. Devin Butler, my teammate, unfortunately does not progress through to qualifying 2. Logan Sargent gets a grid penalty as well, oddly enough. And Nick De Vries, last place in the Haas. There's all the driver changes. You can see them on the screen. There's been quite a few. Lando Norris going from, I think, Ferrari to Aston Martin. So that's a pretty sizable one. Ferrari were doing pretty well at one point. Charles Leclerc, of course, absolutely running away with his championship. And he'll, of course, be a massive threat in this race and going forward into future events. But it's time now for Q2, where I think we're in genuine danger of getting knocked out here. The car isn't the best still. We had to stop developing the car fairly recently to focus on next season's car with the regulation changes coming in. So, yeah, that's meant that, you know, we've slowed down a little bit. We haven't been able to keep up the same sort of pace as the other AI teams. So, development has been tough, but I'm looking forward to hitting the ground running in Season 2, where we've got more facilities and have a bit more money to throw around. This is the first year as a new team, and building up the facilities from off the ground has not been easy. So Season 2, I think progression should be a little bit easier for us when we have a bit more resource points, when we have more just facilities working for us. But this lap looks actually pretty good. We're 2.5, make that 3/10 up on our previous best, which I'm guessing was on a set of used soft compound tires that were utilized from the last session. 4/10 up as we approach the second last and now the last corner now. Yeah, it's okay. A little bit of front sliding as we head up to the line. And that is P9. We do make it through to qualifying 3 in the end. A little bit surprised given the lack of pace we showed in qualifying 1, but maybe an element of getting our eye in the first part of qualifying. But we closed the gap to the race leaders, that being the Red Bulls, Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, leading the way in the Red Bull. 7/10 shy of those guys. Can I find another couple of tenths? Probably. Can I find 7/10? No, probably not. So, yeah, that is going to be pretty tough to mix it with the front runners. We have Ocon getting knocked out in the McLaren, newly moved to that team. Albon in the AlphaTauri, that's a yikes. In P12, Sonoda and Lawson rounding out the top 14. And there is qualifying 3. We did a decent lap, but it wasn't as good as our Q2 lap. And in the end, we're just under a second shy of Charles Leclerc, who takes off the sandbags in Q3. So we're starting the race from P10 for the final race in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Wish me luck.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula One season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that's been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Can we begin by having a chat about Charles Leclerc? What a season they've had, a well-deserved championship victory, and the pressure now is surely off with the title already in the bag.
I agree it's been a truly impressive season, but championship or no, I don't think they'll be gently cruising around to the finish line. In fact, with points no longer a concern, there's a lot less to risk, so we may even see a more aggressive approach.
All right then, here we go for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We are sat on the grid in P9. Someone has been given a grid penalty, so that makes life just that little bit easier for us. Not gonna lie, guys, it feels weird doing post-commentary, but oddly, I feel like I've slotted into it quite nicely. Often I have a few outtakes when I do these, but I kind of like blend them out and you don't really see them. But so far, I've not messed it up too much yet, so fingers crossed that can keep going. But anyway, race strategy, maybe that was a blunder in itself, waffling about that. Looks like we might be doing medium soft to go for fastest up of the race towards the end. I guess we'll assess how the tires feel on the mediums and really go from there. But this car feels a little bit weird when I drive it. It doesn't feel as natural or as nice as, say, the regular F1 2023 cars. Just the FOM car doesn't feel great, especially as you upgrade it with time. Such has been a thing of the past where you keep upgrading and then the car just somehow gets too quick for its platform. Like, you get tons of wheel spin, you'll turn the wheel into a corner and it won't turn, it'll slide. That's something that this car does in particular. But we'll see how this goes over the course of the distance. 5 red lights, and it is time to get this race underway for the last time in Season 1. Looks like a pretty good start, even for me 2 months ago. We'll take that. Heading into Turn 1, we boss the start and go round the outside of Lando Norris in the Aston Martin and make our way into the top 4 if we can get this done. Verstappen slotting into P3, Leclerc displaced by Sergio Perez, and that is a fantastic start from us. I can't remember the last time I gained 5 spots off the start in any race, let alone career mode against the, oh my word, the most difficult AI. Round the outside we go of the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. Welcome back to Mercedes, Valtteri. No, it was actually Norris at Mercedes, not Norris at Ferrari. My memory not serving me very well there, but Norris and Bottas, maybe a bit of beef there, fighting very hard on this opening lap. A local yellow flag behind us as we get the switch back on both of those guys. You can tell I'm very, very happy with that move. Here's the replay. Lando getting caught up on the curb. Unsettles the car, send him into Bottas's path. And that just ruins the run for both of them. We get the cutback and get 2 for the price of 1. That was very, very nice. Okay, I'm getting into this now. I have missed the post-commentary life. Vehicle condition is fine. He was only blabbering on about tyres, so that means that the car is A-OK. That massive front sliding heading into the hairpin. Notice that, or take note of that as we head through that corner pretty much for the rest of the Grand Prix. Maybe I'm throwing the car in too quickly into that corner. We do in general have more downforce than potentially the equal online car. And so, you know, that corresponds well at high speed, but maybe not so much at low speed. Maybe I need to do some work on the chassis, whether it be weight reduction, rear downforce, or even weight redistribution, because there's just something a little bit off about this car, which makes it a little unsatisfactory to drive. Codemasters, please fix that. Anyway, lap 2, and we're in the top 4. We're in kind of the realms of where we want to be. We're pushing on very hard. First track limits warning of the race. But yeah, just going back to that whole car handling thing, I do genuinely think that this is a thing that probably detracts me a little bit away from career mode. I turned into the corner there, and the car just does nothing. The front end is just... It just front sliding. And there's not too much I can do about it. But like I said, this was filmed 2 months ago. Maybe things have changed with the handling of the cars. Maybe it's the setup I was using at the time. Could even be the way I was driving. Like I said, I have moved on a lot with my understanding of the game since I last filmed this. But round the outside we go of Lando Norris. Can we make this stick? We'll have the inside for the next right-hander. We'll have to use a bit of overtake to keep this going. Up the inside into the hotel section. And we have P5 again. These AI are not giving up. Oh my god, that is so unsatisfying. So unsatisfying to drive. Probably to watch as well. As you just watch the time go completely out the window. And now we're getting smothered by the AI. Norris, Russell, and nearly Hamilton got us on this DRS straight. Hamilton now gets us round the outside. Bottas, by the way, in the other Mercedes, has skipped out 2 seconds. Maybe even 3 seconds over us in the last lap or two. So the top 4 are absolutely gone. And it seems like this sliding issue is becoming more apparent the more that we get into this stint. We go around the outside of a couple of guys. We've got grip at high speeds. It's just the low speed that's not so good as we go around the outside of George Russell, arguably squeezed off the track. So we give a little bit of a taste of his own medicine back to George as we run through the hotel section. That just got a little bit too spicy there for a few seconds. George planted the throttle very early on to reclaim that track position. Arguably probably squeezed us off the track. That's at least how I felt at the time of driving it. And I decided to give him, like I said, a taste of his own medicine. This helicopter shot will tell the story pretty well as well. But you got to give it as good as you take it. And, you know, we both went over the limits there. Should be no interference from the stewards there as George now gets us round the outside, but locks up massively on the front left tyre. We decided to just sit in behind because we wanted the DRS. If that wasn't a DRS straight, we probably would have got the cutback on him and driven away on the traction zone. We wait for the DRS, we fly past, and now hopefully we can just have a lap to just settle into our rhythm to try and break away from DRS. Oh my words. Are you seeing what the car is doing? Are you seeing what the car is doing? Massive rear end slide heading into the last corner. We get caught in the tram lines of the curve into turn 1. It's just not pretty. It is not pretty right now. I can only apologize, but I can only do what I can with the platform that I've got. If we go around the outside, hopefully of George, that gives us up a place to Lewis Hamilton. We'll get the DRS here. I imagine we'll get Russell, given that we have the DRS and he does not. Bit of overtake as well. We might be able to get Hamilton into this left hand. That was tight. That was very tight. We're in the top 5 and we can breathe again as the former teammates at Mercedes go hammer and tong. We actually broke outside of a second there, but unfortunately our pace is just terrible in this race. Unfortunately, we've got a retirement. The AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda is pulling off to the side, and if this brings out a safety car, we will box for hard compound tires. I don't think we're going to do softs now. The tires just feel trash. The car feels trash. I don't want to extend this stint. I want to get off these tires fairly swiftly, go onto the hards, and then hopefully have a resilient tyre for the rest of the Grand Prix that won't slide so much? Could it be temperatures? I didn't look at the temperature screen, but I think there's something inherently wrong with the balance of the car, whether it be just this car or the setup. I'll try and stop talking about it, but it's glaringly obvious from just the gameplay that I'm watching right now. It's pretty crazy. Into the pits comes Charles Leclerc. I think Max Verstappen came in as well in the Red Bull. So we should swiftly follow suit and make sure we can go to the end of the race. So this should be pretty easy now to the end. It's only 15 laps on a set of hards. We did 14 on the mediums. So yeah, we should be good. Fronts are a little tiny bit warm, but you know, not glaringly overheating. If anything, if I would have suspected any tyre overheating, it would have been the rears. That would have explained the balance issues, but the rears are actually okay. It was the fronts that were more warm than the others. But even with that said, the fronts were decent. They were, you know, in range, which is where you want them to be. Anything more than 106, 107, and then it's starting to get pretty hot. But George Russell does the overcut, the very next lap on the Ferrari. Onto the hards he goes. He's going to have pretty good tyres for the rest of the race compared to us, but the deg on the hards won't be too bad, so there shouldn't be too much of a delta between the two of us for the rest of the race. But coming out of the pits, Russell will struggle with tyre warm-up just for a lap or so, and that's an important note to make, because we should have the advantage just for a little bit, and we make use of that with that P7 move there. Little replay here from the helicopter shot. Anytime there's a helicopter shot in the replay cameras, you best believe I'm going to use it. Look at how gorgeous that is. Up the inside. Definitely helps that it makes our driving look good. And into P6 now, I think it is. But George immediately trying to hit back. Oh, round the outside. That was a bit naughty from me there, but I get my just desserts. I get my karma. I run wide. George Russell gets the place, and it's no harm, no foul, I guess. Norris round the outside. We're trying to go up the inside of George without DRS. We're going to back out of that one. It is simulation damage at the end of the day, so we don't need to risk it. These guys aren't getting anywhere unless we make a major mistake, so we're going to slot in behind, wait for DRS, and then strike with our battery as we go up the inside of two cars, 3 wide heading into the sweeper, and inside is always going to be king here unless you've got much better top. Okay. Very nice, George. George has absolutely just pulled our pants down there. I said the inside is always king, and George Russell has just proved the opposite. He's as if he's done that. What a move from George Russell, by the way. I can only applaud that. DRS again on the Ferrari, round the outside this time. We try to do a George Russell, but we are not George Russell. George Russell takes the place into P7 once again. Esteban Ocon, 2.7 seconds up the road. I think we are catching, so a bit of DRS sharing. We'd probably be a little bit more smart with how we're battling, but Ocon needed to pit anyway, and that gives us P7. Effective P6 if we can get past Russell here. Can we do a Russell on Russell? Probably not. Yes, we can. Russell messed up. P6 for us. Carlos Sainz next up the road. I think he just boxed on the previous lap, so that is all sorted for us. So now we are fighting for P5, and that is all the pit stops shaken out at this stage. Granted, if there's a safety car, then we're looking good for probably another pit stop, because I would like to get maybe back onto another set of mediums or softs, but it's absolutely not necessary. Nice little overtake there on the last straight where we got the switchback on George Russell. I love the slowing fast out kind of switchback move that we do there. And yeah, it serves us very well. Ocon absolutely flying on the new tyres as we're defending the inside here on Lando Norris, who recently got ahead of Russell after that mistake in the sweeper. And now I think this guy is going to be potentially a little bit harder to defend from. That Aston Martin looks a little quicker in a straight line than the Ferrari did. So it could be a bit of a problem for us if this continues. But they're fighting away, infighting. Gasly is now in the mix, got ahead of both Lando and Russell. And Gasly now is going to be the threat for the remaining 5 laps of this race. Up the inside he goes. That gives us DRS as he crossed the line first. So that is absolutely perfect for us. We've got the flying run around the outside. The AI are really good on acceleration in the lower gears with battery. There's not too much I can do to defend against that. But if we spam our battery for longer than the AI, with a bit of DRS, then we should be okay in general. So, yeah, we're doing okay. We got 3 laps to go. We got a lot of battery, which we have been saving. We've been pretty smart in general with our battling, with using battery at the right time. Definitely helps that we've got a lot of ERS upgrades, which allows us to pretty sustainably burn the battery quite a lot. You can use a lot more battery in career mode than what you can in online, for example, because of those upgrades. And so in the end, if you're not using your battery, it's pretty much wasted performance. But penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, battery is still well over 80%. So we're absolutely cooking on this strategy. We're pretty much leader of the train. And those guys behind, if they want to get ahead of us, they have to burn a lot of their battery to be even half a chance of getting past me. 3 wide for those guys behind, and this might be the perfect opportunity for us to break outside of a second and just secure this P5 in this finale. Up the inside goes Gasly into the hotel section as we have another replay of what just happened. I think we're pretty much a second clear now, but George Russell in the middle of these 2 cars somehow has kept it clean without any contact, without any damage on simulation damage. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. And now look at us trying to run away on this last lap. Gap is 1.1 seconds to Pierre Gasly and the cars behind. There's literally a solid 5, 6, 7 cars there in that train. Every lap we look back, or we look at the leaderboard on the top left corner of the screen, and there's someone different there every time. Gasly and Hamilton now lead, but George Russell is in that. Lando Norris is in that. Probably half a dozen other drivers as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. But here they go again, 3 wide into the chicane between straights. And Gasly is the biggest loser out of that. George Russell gets past Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton in the end, who was absolutely nowhere in this train for the majority of this race, is going to get best of the rest behind me. But here comes Charles Leclerc to win the final race of the season in the Ferrari, putting a full stop at the end of that championship win. Ferrari are dominant in 2023. And oh my word, I wish this wasn't a dream. I wish this wasn't virtual. I wish that was real life. How amazing would it be to see Charles Leclerc winning a championship and bringing glory to Maranello? Unfortunately, it's only a game. But P5 for us, for Marduk Motorsport, caps off a decent season. Jeff is speechless, by the way. Very good.
That's it then, they've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again.
Absolutely. It is a clean sweep for Ferrari this weekend. Absolutely huge. Massive points for Charles Leclerc. And yeah, like I said, in the race, it just puts a full stop at the end of a dominant season for him. I think he was over like 2 or 3 race wins clear of P2 in the driver's standings, which might potentially be us. I don't think it will be. I think we lost even more points to a couple of people, Sergio Perez being one of those. We'll check the driver's standings in just a second, but we had not much pace relative to the top 4. Once we lost touch with Bottas, I never saw him again. Yeah, 24 odd seconds to a Mercedes is not good enough. So a couple of things we need to rectify. I guess long run pace of this car. We need to probably look after the balance of the car as well. That front sliding being a key issue with the handling. Like I said, I'm going to explore setups. I'm going to explore different driving techniques. This was filmed, like I said, 2 months ago. So a lot of things might have naturally changed, and I may not need to do anything at all. But we'll have a little play around. We'll do some upgrades over the winter break, and we'll see if we can make this thing a little bit more drivable. But yeah, we certainly have a tricky car on our hands to drive. But on paper, it is P5 in the driver's standings. We lost out a few points earlier on in the season because of the glitch, like I said, which would have given us maybe 1 or 2 extra places in the standings. But in the end, it is not for the win. It's for P4 or P3, which ultimately doesn't matter too much. Solidly in P4 in the constructors for Marduk Motorsport. So huge effort from the team. Mostly me. Teammates are crap, which we will need to rectify in Season 2. Only 2 points from Devin Butler. Hopefully that changes as we get a better car, as we invest in our second driver, we invest in our simulator, he will only get better. So I'm looking forward to that in Season 2. Devin will be retained for the next season. I will show him some love, some support, but just know he's on thin ice and he needs to deliver next season or he's out of here. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See plenty more racing game content. One final bit of housekeeping for the last bit of the season. The regulation changes. We have 420 resource points to spend. We've basically saved most things in the engine side of things. That's a little cheeky ERS saved for next season. And I think that is all we can afford, unfortunately. And that is the end of the season. The factory will shut down. I'll go on another little break. No, I won't, probably. We'll get started with Season 2, and we'll spend that prize money to make this team better, to invest in the facilities, and gun for that Constructors title. That's ultimately what we want in a My Team career mode. A team that we start ourselves to win the championship in our own car, and most importantly, to win the Constructors as well for that juicy prize money. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this season. I'm sorry it took so long to complete in the end. Hopefully Season 2 will be a bit more swift. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next race, the Bahrain Grand Prix of technically 2024. Should be a good season. It's going to be our championship challenging season. And I say that with a lot more optimism than I say with F1 Manager, which is, by the way, moved to the second channel. Link in the description if you guys want to go see that. But yeah, we want to hit the ground running in Season 2 and start winning. That is the aim. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.